Hi, I'm Amy Solomon. I'm a partner at Girardi Keys. We practice a broad range of all plaintiff matters, which would include product liability, medical malpractice, other professional liability, pharmaceutical and medical device litigation, and of course environmental toxic tort cases. Growing up was interesting for me. I was raised by a single mom from the time I was 3. So my older brother and I were left a lot on our own. He became a great cook at the age of 5, and I was the taskmaster and tied his shoes for school. But this was a very lonely, solitary existence for me. And I somehow found a path to ballet and dance. And to this day, I don't know where I even saw what ballet was, but I knew I wanted to do it. From day one, I was so committed and so dedicated and so in love with the pursuit of dance. I performed with a small repertoire company here in California. I did a season as the guest artist for the Nutcracker with the Florida Ballet Company. I was the Sugar Plum Fairy, and was actually on my way to Europe to fulfill 3 different contracts when I injured myself in rehearsal. And that was a devastating time in my life, to say the least. And I'm here to say that out of devastation, you can put the pieces back together and go on. I took about a year of getting depressed, losing my way, and really having a hard time letting go of what I loved so much and of what was such a tremendous passion for me. And I really thought there never would be anything else. My mom took me kicking and screaming to apply at all the local colleges and universities in LA, and the only one that had the right enrollment period was Cal State Northridge, and she literally got me accepted into Cal State Northridge. And I really thought marketing was what I wanted to do. I really thought that getting a law degree would lead me into business. My first year of law school, I had fantastic professors at Loyola. It was a real gift. And my torts professor was amazing, and it was by far and away my favorite class. I found it fascinating, and I really started gravitating toward those constructs, and certainly from a plaintiff's perspective. I really wanted to do something like that. I came across Girardi Keys. At that time it was Girardi Keys and Crane. So I sent my resume, I got a call, interviewed, and I got the job. And that was 31 years ago as a second-year law student. Within the first 6 months of getting my bar ticket, I was handed a file and told that this was a poor woman who fell on very hard times and needed representation, and trial would be in 2 days. I spent the next 48 hours virtually round the clock. I had to learn a different area of law. I remember being horribly nervous, so nervous that when I was standing at council table behind the chair, I kept rocking. And Steve Ball was there in the courtroom just sort of overseeing things. And I heard him, "Psst, stop rocking, stand still." And that was the last time he had to say that. And it really kind of hit me like, hey, you've got this. Just focus. I really found I enjoyed the moment. I enjoyed advocating. I enjoyed trying to bring justice to my client. The next one I did with Tom, and it was all by accident. I saw some of Tom's law clerks sort of frantically trying to figure out what they were supposed to do. And so I stuck my head in the conference room and I said, "What's going on?" They said, "We don't know what to do. There's all these boxes and trials next week." And end of the day, Tom came by and he says, "So what have we got?" I said, "Well, this is an auto case." Went through all the facts and the injuries. And he just, without even looking at me, just said, "Well, I guess you're going to trial with me," and walked out. "I'll see you at 6 a.m. at the dining car." That moment, I just reverted to ballet mode. I needed to be disciplined in my approach. I needed to be perfect, and I needed to be prepared. And most of all, I needed to be able to anticipate whatever Tom's needs would be. Okay, based upon where his question is right now, he needs this exhibit, stick it over on the corner of the council table. He'd just gracefully walk by, grab it, and it was this very seamless presentation. And it worked great. Shortly thereafter, Tom said, "You go try it." And that's when I started trying cases on my own. I did not have women mentors who tried cases. They really were not out there. I had only seen men try cases. And I think I was really trying to try cases like a guy. And it didn't feel right. It didn't fit right. I really started to get dejected and thought, maybe this isn't for me. And someone came along, talked to me about that, and said, "Well, what would you rather be doing?" And I said, "Ballet." It connected me to my audience, and I felt the audience was hearing the story that my choreography and the music were telling. This friend looked at me, very confused, and said, "Have you ever taken a good look at the inside of a courtroom? It's kind of ready-made for that. You've got your jury, your audience, you've got your stage, and you've got your client's story, and you are articulate enough to tell it. Why don't you try looking at it that way?" And the very next trial I had, which was not too far away, I just thought, all right, it's a ballet performance. I'm going on stage. I'm going to get my audience, and I'm going to connect with them. And I did. And it felt so incredibly different and so incredibly good. And it just propelled me to the next level. And I found my voice. I think in that moment, I learned I was focused way too hard on being a lawyer and not at all on being human and being the person that I am, a person who craves that connectivity, as we all do, and that communication. And when I was able to stop focusing on the evidence code and civil procedure and sounding like a lawyer and focusing on that connection and passion and communication, I liked that. That was lovely, and I've never looked back. I had the wonderful opportunity to go to Loyola very recently and listen to Justice Cuellar, and what he said that struck me more than anything was how he looks at advocacy. And what he said was, to him, advocacy is empathy. And I felt like I had been hit between the eyes with a 2x4 on that, and I just sort of languished on that. Advocacy is empathy. And I thought, yes. What a wonderful, wonderful way of looking at it. And particularly as a woman, because I think it's very hard for women, myself included, to look at advocacy as war. It shouldn't be. It's not good for the process. It's not good for your client. And it takes the focus away from what's really at issue. We're talking about people. We're talking about people's lives. And I think that it's very important for us not to lose sight of that. And that doesn't mean that we wuss out and don't be strong and don't fight for our clients. Of course we have to do that, but always within the realm of empathy and human understanding, because that's what our legal system is made up of. That's who participates in it. And I think that that is an extremely important thing to always hang on to.